couldn't sit long on the hill. It soon became cold. Maria tried to get the 3-year-old to walk a bit where there was bare ground, but she quickly became tired, so Maria had to carry her on her back again, and they struggled on. The farm of Lomsdalen disappeared between the ridge of Medheia. We may never see the farm again, thought Maria. It had seemed like they would take root there after a wandering life for many years. Those were years that had offered a bit of everything, from relative prosperity to extreme poverty. Now the future suddenly seemed more uncertain and insecure than ever before. Berit also began to get terribly tired, and the chest she carried was heavy and awkward to hold. If only she had some straps to tie it with so she could hang it over her shoulders and back. Little was said on the journey, even talking strained their breath and strength, and instinct told them they needed all their reserves to make it. The poor, frozen group struggled on meter by meter in silence. The worst part was from the Lomsdalen down to the river Breivaselva. There the path goes down steep rock faces and through large boulder fields, and with rotten snow over the uneven ground they could fall through at any moment and end up deep between the stone blocks. They had to be extremely careful and took at least an hour to cover the few hundred meters down to the river. Maria dreaded this river all the way, which was raging now in the snowmelt. Only 2 large spruce trees were laid over it as a bridge, and if they fell off, they were mercilessly lost. When they finally reached the river, Maria felt that now things were really going wrong. The 3rd child was probably on the way. And far too early due to all the exertions and emotional strain. She sat down on the stones that were laid up as a bridgehead on the riverbank. She told Berit to leave the chest here and try to go get over the logs and up the farm of Strumpdal to get help. She and Pauline would wait until someone came. Then she watched in breathless suspense as the slender girl figure crawled on all fours over the river on the swaying spruces. She could see her struggling up the steep hillside on the other side. It was a north-facing slope with particularly deep snow there, but she knew it was only a short distance from the edge of the slope to the farm. They stayed in Strumpdal until the next day, but Maria only got worse, and there seemed to be no change. In Strumpdal there was no one particularly skilled in childbirth assistance, and the next day they helped Maria down to Børjeøra by the sea. They half carried and half supported her along the heavy and difficult stretch, and Berit still trudged after with the chest, while a boy carried Pauline.
They had to wade through deep snow in Sæterdalen and fords with streams. It was a terrible strain for Maria, who was in great pain and felt deathly ill. At Børjeøya there was only an old couple, and after a short consultation they decided they had to try to get out of Skrinet with the sick woman. The wife on the farm was renowned as an exceptionally skilled midwife, and they were sure Maria would get the best help there. They arranged a bed of fur blankets in the stern of the boat, and 2 men took out the oars, and the old woman came along to take care of the sick woman and the children. During the journey, Maria was so sick at one point that they thought she would die, but strangely enough she revived a bit again. "They will to live is strong, so it will probably be fine," said one of the men rowing, sending a tobacco-brown spit over the side. People were accustomed to sickness, death and misery from the famine years.